Hey, bookworms. It is Thursday, the 19th of February, and I have on the phone who dialed in to Michigan from Georgia, Jessica Bowman. How are you doing, Jessica?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. It's a pleasure. And can you tell me first, I guess, about yourself as an author?
Okay. Well, my name is Jessica Bowman. I live in the very northwest corner of Georgia, so I'm about 10 minutes from Alabama and 10 minutes from Tennessee. Live about 20 minutes outside of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I have been writing since pretty much since I was able to write. Um, I started writing little stories as a child, and I always wrote for the newspaper staff in middle school and high school, and then after that, I wrote for a paper in Chattanooga called Enigma Magazine. I wrote music reviews and just I would write little just personal stories from a unique perspective. And I've always had a blog since probably 2004 or so. And in 2022 or 2021, I decided to put some of my stories into book form, and now it's 2026, and I have three books, and I just had my third book come out in January, Making Waves.
Nice. And when you are not writing, I read on your blog that you like nature. So
Definitely
tell me
so.
about that. Where are the best trails in Georgia?
Oh goodness, well, we live about 10 minutes away from Cloudland Canyon, which is a national park, and it is so beautiful. Or is it state park? State park. But it has like amazing waterfalls, and you can do a lot of great hiking there. We have a lot of places like that. We live right next to a creek that we'll go fishing in, and we like to fish and just walk around and enjoy nature and be outside.
I love that. That's great. All right. So Making Waves, you said, is your most recent book.
Mhm.
And all three of your books, I gather, are nonfiction. Is that right?
They are.
Okay.
They are. Adulting 101 is a kind of a self-help manual for young adults to survive and thrive in the real world. And In Case I Die is a memoir, and then Making Waves, my newest book. Um, it's kind of a combination of both. It's a self-help book, but it tells a lot of personal stories about how did I either learn this lesson, or did I fail at this to learn a lesson, or did I succeed at this to learn a lesson? Um, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, they're all nonfiction.
Okay. And do you ever write nonfiction or do you have a plan to, I mean, fiction? Do you have a plan to write fiction or are you just going to stick to nonfiction books?
Um, I used to write fiction when I was a child, but I have always just liked to write like kind of funny little stories about life, like just just everyday little things that would make people laugh or make people feel something, or learn a lesson. I have a teacher's heart, so I really like to write stories that can help educate someone, or make them feel a certain way, or come out of it hopefully better than they were before.
Okay. And who would you say your target audience is?
I would say probably women in their 20s to 40s, especially women. Well, for Adulting 101, that would be young adults, of course, but for the other two, um, really anybody. It doesn't have to be women, but I kind of, when I was writing it, was kind of just pretending like I was talking to a friend. So I imagined, a female person that I was talking to, and just teaching all these lessons to.
Okay. What type of, can you give us some idea of some lessons that are dealt with in either any of the books, I guess, any of the what you want to highlight?
Yeah, for sure. So in Case I Die, it was all about, we had a string of tragedies hit us in 2021 to 2023, and it's all about extreme grief and loss, and how I ended up not overcoming that grief and loss, but learning to live with it and finding joy in every day. So that's the kind of lessons that you can learn in that book, is how to, still see the sunshine when it feels like there is no sun anymore. Making waves, it's all about people pleasing, learning to say no when you said yes, but you really meant no, hiding parts of yourself to appease other people, being your most authentic self and happiest self, and protecting your inner peace is what making waves is all about.
Nice. And uh, any highlights from the other two as far as lessons, In Case I Die or Adulting 101?
Well, I shared In Case I Die, finding joy in every day. In Adulting 101, it's a valuable guide to help you navigate all the things you don't know and tackle each obstacle as it comes. So you'll learn all the adulting basics, from finding your dream job, managing your money, basic cooking and cleaning skills, and even how to establish healthy relationships.
Nice. And what do you enjoy most about being an author now that you're published?
Um, well, like I said, I always had a blog or wrote for a newspaper, and I would always write these little stories. I had hundreds of stories in my Google Drive. And it wasn't really until, so like I said, we had a string of tragedies hit. We were foster parents, and our foster son of 3 years went back home to his birth mom after 3 years. So that was really hard. And then right after that happened, my uncle passed away suddenly, and my cousin came to live with me, and my husband. He was 23 years old, and he didn't know anything about, like, he asked me, why do we fold clothes? And so I started putting together just these little posts for him, like, this is why we fold clothes and how to do it. This is how we, boil water, or whatever, kind of adulting thing he was dealing with that week. I would write a little post for him. And then all of a sudden I had about 20 to 25 posts. And I was like, it would really be great to put this into a book. But it wasn't until after my uncle passed, my mom passed away suddenly too, and then my husband's father passed away, and so we were just dealing in our grief, and also it just gave us a lot of perspective about, this is something I've always wanted to write a book, but I've never had the courage to do it, and I think this is kind of a now or never kind of thing. Like, if I'm going to write a book, I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to publish it. I'm going to learn how to do that myself, and I'm going to do the thing that I've always wanted to do. So I
Hmm.
really love having the books, but as far as, I wrote that first book and I didn't tell anybody. I just kind of gave it to my cousin and was like, here you go, I wrote this book for you.
Uh,
But I'm just now getting to the point where I'm starting to tell people, hey, I have 3 books that I've written now, and I'd really like to share them with the world now. But when you write them, they're yours. It's your information, and it belongs to you. But as soon as you start sharing it with people, then it belongs to other people too. And that's the scariest thing I think about being an author. It's putting yourself out there and knowing, like, that information doesn't belong to you anymore.
right, right. And how have people, now that you're putting your book out there, how have people reacted to it?
Pretty well so far. I just spoke at a book club that read In Case I Die,
Hmm.
and they really liked the stories in it. I mean, it sounds morbid because it's called In Case I Die, and it does talk about, losing all those family members. Whenever my cousin lived with us, and we had all each lost a parent within months of each other, we started what we called the Dead Parent Society, and we would meet and, like, watch 90s wrestling together. And
That's entertaining.
it was really entertaining, but it was great because we all were going through the same thing at the same time. And
Mhm.
I was having trouble being, like, a bubbly social person because I just wasn't feeling like going out and feeling like being social and and stuff, and I didn't want to bum anybody out with my sadness, so we would just all hang out together.
Yeah. Okay. And so you're indie published.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you, I know you do, but what is your .com?
It is Jessica W Bowman, BOWMAN.com.
Okay. And you messaged me, so I know you're on other social media platforms. Do you want to point listeners to that?
Sure, sure. My Facebook is Jessica W Bowman Author, and that is my Instagram as well. And my TikTok I just started, and I believe it is Jessica W Bowman.
Okay.
I don't remember if it has author, but I did send you the link, so hopefully you can
Okay. That's
post
okay.
that if
Yeah,
that's incorrect.
yeah, absolutely. And your covers. How anything to remark about your cover and cover designs? How you came up with it?
I made them in Canva. I my cover for Making Waves is a picture of me on the beach. And that was really scary to put a picture of myself on the cover, but I thought it needed to be done, and I think it really goes with the theme. And In Case I Die is a field of wildflowers in a cemetery. And so if you read the book, it talks about how when I go, I'd like to be cremated and put in a mix of wildflowers and just kind of sprinkled around the roads and around all our favorite places and stuff. So whenever you see the wildflowers grow, you'll think of me.
What is something that you struggled with when you were trying to get across that finish line of publishing?
Well, there were definitely a couple of stories in each book, especially Making Waves and In Case I Die, that were, I knew I had to write them to make the book whole and finished, but they were the hardest ones, so I put them off to the very last minute. In Making Waves, there was a story about being foster parents and our foster parent journey. And when I first wrote that chapter, we hadn't had any contact with him for 5 years, so the ending was kind of up in the air. You know, I just wrote, we planted seeds. We have to live with that with knowing that we planted seeds, and hopefully they took root, and hopefully, you know, we did some good with that child. And but over the holidays, he actually found us on the internet and reached out to us, so we were able to reconnect with him, and I was able to rewrite that chapter at the very last minute, right before publishing, and give it a happy ending. So,
Okay.
but I do have some funny stories. In Case I Die, I talk about music a lot. I love music, and I've always written music reviews and stuff like that. So there is a lot of musical references.
So the first couple paragraphs are Making Waves.
Okay. We've all heard the adage about throwing a pebble into a pond. The immediate splash, the expanding circles of ripples affecting everything in their path. That's one kind of wave. The gentle, often unintentional kind, the small acts of kindness or a shared smile that spread outward, touching lives in ways we may never fully know. This book will explore those positive ripples, the beautiful consequences of small, deliberate acts of good. But there's another kind of wave, one that often feels more daunting. It's the kind that requires us to disrupt the existing calm, to stir the waters when the surface is smooth and the status quo reigns. It's about learning that sometimes, to navigate our own truest course, to live as our most authentic and happiest selves, we have to be willing to ruffle a few feathers.
Love it. All right. Well, Jessica, I really enjoyed talking to you tonight about your books, Making Waves, In Case I Die, and Adulting 101.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it as well, and I will
Excellent.
send you these books as soon as
Excellent.
I have some more coming in.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Well, I wish you much success and congratulations on 500 followers. And I hope, as a result of this video, if you're watching this, that you give Jessica a follow as well.